First of all, the entity that is Sear Sound, which was Walter Sear, has been around about 50 years in various guises. He had an electronic studio. He worked with Bob Moog in the very beginning, and he had studios, 3 or 4 different locations. This is the last incarnation of Sear Sound, the last one indeed. We've had, of course, hundreds and hundreds of sessions here, and most famous people: Sting, Wilco, Norah Jones, Sonic Youth, Lou Reed, Paul McCartney, David Bowie did his album here, an album here, Patti Smith, and so forth and so on. I can't even think of all the famous people that have been here. But a couple of months ago, Joe Scarborough was here from Morning Joe, did his own album, still working on it. But a couple of months ago, who should come in but Bert and Ernie? And the staff was more thrilled with them than any artist who'd ever crossed the threshold in this place. Walter used to say, because he was just trying to be above the fray. It sounds like a politician, I don't know. But he really meant it, I think. We're not competitors. We're not in competition with any other studio at all. And his best friends were studio owners. I just had dinner with one last night. He considered them friends of his, and and I still do it. I carry his tradition. I don't believe in it, but he did, so I do it. But he helped out all the people. If they ran out of tape, he'd give them tape. If they needed boards for the 827 for the Studer, the analog machine, he'd do whatever he could to help another studio get through a session. I said, Walter, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Let them fail. He said, no, that's not the way to do it. If we're going to succeed, it'll be on our own terms, and we're not in competition with anybody. His credo was, actually, the recorded sound sucks. Those are his words. I'm not paraphrasing. Those are his words. And he said, all we can do here is try to make it better. And to that end, he collected 285 mics, most of which are vacuum tube. A lot of tremendous amount of analog gear that's vacuum tube, Pultex Fairchilds and U.S. Army limiters and such, which he abhorred limiters. He said no good engineer should have to be using a limiter. They should just record, and it should be perfect when I don't need a limiter. But he had them anyway. And people would say, where did you get all this vintage equipment, Walter? And Walter said, when I bought it, it was brand new. The bane of Walter's existence was Pro Tools, and he was very proud of the fact that he couldn't even turn the damn thing on. And so I caught him one day. I didn't get to the phone fast enough. One of the rules at Sear Sound that Walter imparted to all of us is that the phone rings once, and that's it. If you don't get to it after one ring, get out. Not me, but if I wasn't here, then that was so. But he answered the phone before I could get to it, and I heard him denying to a client that we had Pro Tools at all. And I said, Walter, are you crazy? So they went someplace else. It's the, well, I don't know, it's absolutely necessary, and it has been for the last 8, 10 years, I guess. It has to be used. Everybody's using Pro Tools. They can't afford tape anymore. But there he was denying that we had a rig. I said, you're nuts. He said, well, I want to keep up the reputation of the studio. We'll keep it quiet that Pro Tools is here. Now we have 3 rigs. But he denied it. Walter said, if it doesn't earn money, close it down. It's not a museum. It's not a school. It's a recording studio, an operating recording studio. So that's what we do, carrying out Walter's wishes. That's all. Doing what he asked for in his will.